They're practicing right behind us, and great to see so many of the crowds that are here supporting, watching. It's massive in Sarajevo. This sport really is going from strength to strength. Okay, without further ado, JJ, let's get to our commentary team of Michael McMullen and Carl Boys.
Thanks, Di. So two players who both announced themselves on the world stage in the game of 9-ball pool at quite a young age. Filler's gone on to a great deal more success than Szewczyk, but the pool has had a pretty solid career himself. And you look at the way we often expect players have to play when they're trying to pull off a bit of an upset, and the word we use is it's going to have to be pretty much flawless. And earlier on today, that's basically what Wojciech Szewczyk was. He's a very dependable player, Carl, doesn't miss much. That surprises us.
Yeah, he breaks very well. He's got a very, very good temperament as well. Doesn't give much away when he's at the table.
So Joshua Filler, 27 years of age. Can you believe that when you consider how long he's been around? But as I say, he did become a real star name in the game at a young age. He's one of those players who've won both of the game's two standout titles, the World Championship and the US Open. And it's 6 years next month since he completed that double by winning the US Open in Las Vegas. Three-time Mosconi Cup MVP. Just one short of Niels Fein's record. He's ranked number 8 in the world, and you could look at that and say it's a false ranking, and maybe it is to a certain extent. He hasn't played in all of the events, but he's played in most of them. And actually, over the last couple of years, by his very high standards, he's maybe underachieved a little. Certainly as far as the Matchroom major events are concerned. And the 3 years we were in Germany for this European Open, he was very much the big narrative. Could he win a major title in his home country? Didn't quite happen for him. He had another chance in the World Masters when that was played in Germany last April, and he got very close, within one rack, losing the final to Federgorst. But both of them have got multiple strong runs in this European Open on their CV. Fellow was in the quarter-finals the first year it was played in 2022. Semis the following year. He was only a couple of racks away from the final, lost to Anton Raga. And last year again, all the talk around the place in Fulda was about Filler's quest for a home victory. But he ended up going out in the last 16 to Mustafa Alnar. You're very up with all these things, Carl. That match that Joshua Filler played against his wife Pia in this tournament 3 years ago. How many views is it up to now on YouTube?
I want to say the last time, I want to say it was on about 13, 14 million, maybe.
I think the last time I looked, it was 16 million. And by the wonders of technology, I'm now able to tell you exactly what it is. Wow, it's gone past 20 million. 20 million.
Joshua did win that match, by the way.
So as I said, it's been a while since he won one of these big Matchroom events, and he's gone out a bit earlier than expected in quite a few of them over the last year or two. But there's no doubt he entered the quarter-finals as favourite to land this European Open title. If Szewczyk can carry forward even a sizable chunk of the form he showed earlier today against Sanjin Pelovanovic, then Filler has got a real test. Szewczyk will start us off. It's a race to 10 for a place in tomorrow's European Open semi-finals.
The 8 ball is going to find the middle of the pocket. Held his hand up because obviously the players are trying to pot the 1 ball, so he feels like that's a bit lucky, but I don't really get all that, Michael. You know, he's delighted the ball's got in the pocket. Why shouldn't a random ball go in the pocket?
Well, he's already missed the 1 in the side as many times in this match as he did in the entirety of his match against Pelovanovic. There's 10 breaks. He made that 1 in the side pocket 9 times. "30 years of age, 17th in the world rankings. The biggest single reason for him being that high was his run to the World Championship semi-final last year.
He can pot this ball, but he can't get on the red 3, so he may play the hook, put the cue ball in behind the purple ball. Played it nicely, good safety, 1 from 1 in the safety department. You'd be surprised how much of a mess you can make of them shots. Got to hit the cue ball lovely, time it nice, and I don't know if Josh can, yeah, kind of where he stood looking. Well, he can't, he's looking at the bottom rail, so he's cut out this rail nearest to the cue ball, which is very handy. And coming off this bottom rail, he's going to have to try and arc the cue ball. Let's watch the cue ball arc here. Oh, he's played the DF, which is obviously allowed. You just give up ball in hand. What he's done is he's blocked the pocket for the purple 5. He's banking on Wojciech, playing a poor positional shot from the pink to the purple.
DF, of course, standing for deliberate foul.
I think Wojciech will play for the combination though. Purple 5 onto the brown 7. As long as you hit the lowest ball, if another ball goes in, you stay at the table. Of course, if the 9 goes in, you win the rack.
Even if it's off the break, which happened in his match earlier today against Pelovanovic in rack 3. I was talking to Jeremy about this earlier today, Carl. When you say to people who aren't familiar with 9-ball pool that the 9-ball is literally the only one that counts in terms of who wins the rack, they think that just sounds crazy. But then when you actually see it in action, being played by really good players, you understand why it is that way.
Again, that's another good shot. The camera angle made it seem unmissable, but when you're behind them, they can fool you a little bit. Yeah, I think it's a fair point what you were talking about then, Michael. I think we'll discuss this a little bit more during the racking process from the referee.
Well, it's about 9 hours since his last 16 match against Pelovanovic ended. It looks as though he's picking up with exactly the same groove he had played himself into in that one. This is exactly what he was doing earlier. Very efficient, doing the simple things well, getting it done. For the 11th time in the 13 racks he's played today, Szewczyk pots the winning 9. He leads Joshua Filler 1-0. So go on, Carl, what more do you want to say about that whole point I was making there about how the 9-ball is the decisive and indeed only counting ball.
Yeah, obviously coming from the world of English 8-ball, growing up through that version of pool and playing a bit of 9-ball from around the age of 22. And not really understanding the sport properly until I really started to play it. A lot of people that have never played it, and had a go, they don't really understand how difficult it is, what things you can be faced with on a pool table. When you do play it, you become quite hooked. It's got this knack of just dragging you in. This is table 2 action, by the way. This is Naoki Oi against Loho Som. And Naoki Oi seems to have just blitzed through the field so far.
Well, we've had 3 previous European Opens, and we've always had a European winner. These are the only 2 players left who can snap that sequence. Naoki Oi from Japan, former World Championship and US Open semi-finalist, and Loho Som, who's been to the final of the World Masters, high-class invitational event in the past. So they're level in the early stages. Here, it's 1-0 to Szewczyk.
Yeah, so for instance, it's like this particular scenario. This is what we call a push out, and it's because when Josh comes to the table, he's hooked. Obviously, the dry break means Josh comes to the table. And now he can roll the cue ball where he wants, he can move another ball, he can pot a ball, but the biggest rule you've got to bear in mind is his opponent's going to come back to the table with the option of playing or passing the shot back. So you've got to think carefully, because once you're playing someone who's world class, you can't just leave them anything, I mean, not even easy, but even like rolling out into an easy jump shot. These top players are going to make it, so there's a big art to this. And there's no doubt about it, Wojciech's going to play this shot, I'm convinced. I'm not saying Josh had anything easier, because obviously he's scared to leave the pot, isn't he? But I think he can leave distance and keep the cue ball up in this right corner near the blue 2. Yeah, he's got to play this shot, surely. And he is doing. Well, he's back up again, so he's just double checking things.
Filler was also so good earlier today against Jason Shaw. Raced into a 6-1 lead. And the Scot did get a couple back, but he only won 1 more after that. 10-4, Filler came through. Well, okay, we saw earlier today Szewczyk basically took every opportunity that came his way against Pelovanovic. He was just as effective and efficient with the opportunity he got in the first rack. On the basis of that, this already looks ominous in rack 2 for Filler.
Extension called.
Yeah, it's a 30-second shot clock, but you do get 1 extension of a further 30 seconds to be used at any time you like in each rack. Those of you who've been watching the game for years, of course, know all these things, but when we have these big weekends, new viewers come to the game, so good to introduce them to what it's all about. Second time in the European Open quarter-finals for Szewczyk. Reached this stage a couple of years ago. Was in the last 16 last year.
Cue ball's got some distance to travel here. That's okay. Yeah, just signalling another couple of rolls would have been ideal, but he's fine. Just kind of means he's got to drop this one a little slower. He could go up and down actually off both short rails. Yeah, but it's more the slow roll, which is fine.
So my observation on Szewczyk, Carl, would be that he doesn't make many silly mistakes at all. Generally the balls you expect him to pot and the good positional shots you expect him to play and the run-outs you expect him to make. He's a very high percentage of doing them. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. He's, other than, you know, lifting the World 9-ball title or the US Open, you know, the big 9-ball majors, he's knocked on the door a few times, hasn't he? He will not be scared of Joshua Filler. He'll look at this as opportunity. He wants to show the world he's the man. As I said, the biggest asset he's got is he's got a fantastic temperament.
Well, I guess that goes hand in hand, doesn't it, with not making silly mistakes. When he brings a bit of his long game to it as well, and that's operating at a high percentage, he becomes very, very difficult to beat. So he hasn't made the one in the side off the break in either of the first two racks, but he's ended up winning both of them. Wojciech Szewczyk leads Joshua Filler 2-0 in this quarter-final. So let's have a look at the draw as it stands. So Daniel Maciol through 10-6 over Tobias Bongers. Maciol into his first major semi-final now, the pole, and he awaits either Naoki Oi or Loho Sum. And Pius Labutis into the semi-finals of a Matchroom major for the third time. He's lost the previous two. He will be the opposition tomorrow for the winner of the match we're featuring here. So, Daniel Maciol into his first major semi-final, and afterwards he spoke to Carl.
Daniel, congratulations through to your first Open event semi-final. How does that sound? How does it feel?
It feels amazing. I played almost perfect match right now with Tobias. I truly believe that I deserve that win, and the previous one with Kopini, it was also amazing. Yeah, it's my first semi-final. How to be not excited?
You won with the golden break, that's right?
Yeah, I was a bit ashamed at first, but then my happiness go out and I screamed. It was.
You say that, but I kind of like that, because when players are getting golden breaks and apologising, that's kind of like getting me frustrated, because listen, if you're going to get a golden break, everybody gets them. You never know when you're going to get them. So I really enjoyed that you sort of celebrated.
Yeah, it's the beautiful of 9-ball that with this format, with this break, always you can make the 9-ball from the break. It's amazing, and of course it happens to your opponent sometimes, and you have to like count it for it.
Never be ashamed or embarrassed about a golden break. They're wonderful, and the crowds love them. Maciol was one rack away from the semi-finals of this European Open last year. This time, he's managed to complete the job. 25 years of age, from Poland.
Yeah, we have seen it though, haven't we, Michael? This season, you know, players making the golden, the hand goes up, but you know full well when they're sat in the chair, they're buzzing from it, they love it. Why would you not want to win a rack off the break shot?
Well, it's like when you see players holding their hand up and they've had a bit of luck off the break, and then they just go back to the table and continue potting balls. One thing I would say is it's nice to see a little bit of decorum and sportsmanship, but I know what you're saying as well, that perhaps the sentiment is a bit misplaced. The thing with Maciol is, it's not like he's come out of nowhere. He's actually been very consistent at getting to the weekend of these big matchroom events over the last few years. It's the 3rd year in a row he's done it in this event alone. So he's been patiently and steadily building up. Had a great win over Shane Van Boening yesterday.
Yeah, and you know what, Michael? I think he may well be turning into Poland's #1 player, you know. I'm sure Wojciech Szewczyk would have something to say about that, but it's funny how these two are the remaining 2 Polish players, and if Wojciech can continue the form here, we would have 2 players in the semi-finals. Kick and stick. Oh, he's missed the kick and stick there. It's a little soft of pace. I think he was trying to just get the cue ball to roll in behind the 8 and 6 rather than stopping its tracks.
Yeah, you go back maybe 2 years or so, all the talk was about Victor Zielinski, that he was going to be the one to break through and win one of these big titles. And in this modern era, the only Pole who's got to a big final is Mieszko Fortunski at the UK Open last year.
Yeah, Fortunski, he was the player as well that many people felt like may have been Poland's #1.
Bit of a Polish winner of the World Masters back in 2012, Karol Skowroński, but that was a very different era in the game.
Yeah, he never really backed anything else up after that, did he, as well? Obviously a fantastic win doing the Masters. He's gone all out attack, and what a pot. What a pot. Took a gamble on position on the red 3. Didn't pay off, but he stays at the table.
Well, it was with Karol Skowroński that Szewczyk reached the World Cup of Pool final for Poland when he was only 18. And they very nearly won it as well. Finland beat them 10-8.
What a beautiful bank shot. Fantastic pot on the blue too. Really difficult pot on all into such a blind pocket. And this is sending a huge message over to where Phil is sitting, believe me. He'll be sat there thinking, how's he carved out this opportunity? From nowhere, it seems. Needs an angle on this purple ball, though, because he's got to slide down behind the 6. Maybe he could make the combo. It's not dead set. If he's got the angle to float down this rail, he'll play that. Combination it is. You can see from the overhead it's not dead set, so that means if he pots the 8, the green 6 is going to squirt to the right hand side pocket, so he'll try and set this ball up so he plays the green 6 in, well, it'll be the bottom left pocket as we're looking.
Yes, underlining what we were talking about earlier. 6 is the lowest numbered ball on the table. As long as you strike that first, which he did, any pot is legal. So he's potted the 8, keeps him at the table. The 6 is still the lowest ball, so now he attempts to pot that direct.
I'll tell you what, he's feeling good out there. Many a player had just killed the cue ball. He's fired the 6 round the table. He judged it lovely.
I don't know if you viewers at home can hear it, but the rain is absolutely hammering down on the roof here in Sarajevo. And the storm clouds are gathering above Joshua Filler. He's 3-0 down in this quarter-final.
Don't even know what you are messing with. We're coming at you with a brand new hit. Something's telling me that it's still in time.
Joshua Filler played some inspired stuff earlier today against Jason Shaw, but he's not had a chance to do that tonight in pursuit of that European trophy that he's yet to get his hands on. Wojciech Szewczyk doing a very effective job of keeping him at bay and playing every bit as well so far as he did in his own win earlier today against the hometown favourite Sanjin Pelovanovic. 3-0 to the pole. Meanwhile, No-Ho Sum of Hong Kong has just levelled at 3-3 with Naoki Oi of Japan in the other remaining quarter-final.
Pay attention to that one ball, trying to pot it in left centre pocket as we look at the TV screens. Not quite finding the mark though, is it? It's going low.
Yeah, he's only made it 1 out of 4 so far. Jeremy was pointing out earlier today that the way Szewczyk is hitting the ball on the break, the 9 is going to threaten the corner pocket quite a bit, and that was how it turned out actually earlier on today. And similar there again, but coming up dry. Filler has a chance to start his turnaround in this match.
Bit unlucky there. That was a lot more difficult than he's just made it look. A lot of distance between cue ball and object ball. Playing the combination off the rail, jacked up, striking down. He hit it pretty good. Didn't land on the one though, did he? So he's going to play thin off this, try and get cover. Needs the cue ball to keep going here, otherwise he's going to leave this yellow one ball. When I say leave it, I mean
over on table 2, Naoki Oi putting his lead against Low Ho Sum at 4-3. Oi looking to reach his first Matchroom Big final since the US Open in 2021.
Extension call.
if it had just missed the brown 7, he'd have got the hook. Again, there's no real obvious attacking shot here, so it's going to be a safety shot. Trying to get this cue ball down behind the 3. Similar to Wojciech. Not really played it too well. Just lacked the pace that. If the one ball had gone on the bottom rail, he might have got him in behind the purple. But again, he's not left any form of attacking shot. But he has give Fuller the safety edge here.
And ultimately, that had paved the way for a chance for the German to finally get stuck in here. Must feel like he's not really got involved in this quarter-final yet. Love's been out there, centre stage, crowd watching, being beamed all around the world. He hasn't had a chance to show off what he can do yet. Could this be the beginning of it?
Well, that is a very useful flick off the 8. He was in no man's land there. It was a good pot. He was just trying to get down here and then play a good safety, but he can definitely pot it, can't he, Michael?
I think so. No.
Wow, that's really fooled me. I'm convinced he could pot that ball. It's been a long day.
Your eyesight does start to go when you hit your 40s. But yeah, we were both completely deceived by that. All adds to the sense of early frustration that Fuller may feel. Feel a bit more frustrated now.
Turning into a funny old rack, this one, rack number 4. Could prove to be a big rack.
Szewczyk's best performance, I think it's fair to say, was against Palovanovic earlier. You really can't play any better than that. But his best result, I think, was probably in the previous round when he knocked out the 2-time world champion Albin Ocean, former winner of this title.
Foul.
So it's another chance for Filler to get started, and ball in hand and the 2 over the pocket.
Start the clock, please.
It is a good one. Win any of the matchroom events last year. Went very close. I mentioned that World Masters where he was only beaten Hill in the final by Fedor Gorst. Gorst actually had to win all of the last 3 racks and did. He was also a semi-finalist in the US Open, quarter-finals of the UK Open, and got to the last 16 or better in all of the matchroom big field events that he played last year. I suspect with Filler, he'd swap consistency for a little bit more silverware. So ball in hand, gave Filler the chance to finally get his arm going, and he's done the rest from there. He's got one on the board at last. Szewczyk's lead trimmed ever so slightly to 3-1. Now let's look in again on table 2. The other semi for grabs is being contested here, and Naoki Oi has got a really good chance to go here. Winner of this will play Daniel Maciol tomorrow for a place in the final.
Yeah, 6 to the 7 is all about pace, and the pace, well, it's perfect. He's got a spring in his step as always. Japanese player who's been around for many a year.
Yeah, he's 42 years of age now. Still a bundle of activity and nervous energy bouncing around the table. Oh, this 9 to get halfway to a place in the last 4. 5-3 to the Japanese star. First look in this match at the break of Japan.
Yeah, the one ball is better staying over that pocket. If it had fell, he wouldn't have had a shot on the red 3. The 2 ball went off the break, didn't it, in that corner. Can be little tricky shots these, though, you know, when the ball's right in the pocket, they can catch you out. Obviously the positional side of the shot, not the pot. Oh, he's hit this good. I'm telling you, he's hit that good. Straight and got right through the cue ball.
Szewczyk had a couple of close matches early on in the week. A couple of 9-7s, but Filler just hasn't been run close in any of the 6 matches he's had. Got through the first 3 rounds to make single elimination for the total loss of only 2 racks. Since then, it's been 10-2 against Dimitris Loukatos, 10-3 against João Grillo, and then even with the step up in quality of opposition when he played Jason Shaw earlier today, was comfortable in the end at 10-4. Closing in here on the first break and run from either player. Break and run, for those of you who aren't familiar with the game, effectively means keeping your opponent in his chair for the entire rack. Szewczyk had 5 of those earlier today, none so far in this quarter-final. The German just starting to flow a bit here. And all of a sudden, he's back to only 1 behind at 3-2. So this is the first of the big Matchroom Open events in 2025. The next one will be coming up in May. We'll be off to Telford once again. Robbie Capito was the champion there last year, making his big breakthrough, beating Mieszko Fortunski in the final. We will be returning to Telford International Centre from the 6th of May. It's an event that Joshua Filler has won in the past when it was in London. It's such a cliche, Carl, to talk about how you need to get your first rack on the board to really settle into a match, but it is true, and we've seen it with Filler here. It applies even for the very best.
Yeah, obviously you've then got the break, haven't you?
Thank you. Break number 6, for Sheffield to break.
There's always this talk of alternate break and winner break, and players, you know, a lot of players have their opinion and different views on it, but what I would say is if you're 3-0 down in alternate break, it can be quite hard work, because obviously the player winning is going to get more breaks. In this instance, Josh is 3 down, and he can put a package together, and you do seem to see a lot more comebacks. He's got his work cut out here though on the red 3.
Yeah, would have preferred if that 2 had stayed over the corner pocket. He's needed things to fall kindly for him in the early stages of this match. It hasn't generally been happening, and there's another example of it.
Extension call. Extension call.
see the crowd gathered around the table there. There's also an upper tier that you can't see with a lot of people sitting there as well. Oh, now you can see it.
Yeah, at the start of the evening session tonight, the crowd looked a little bit bleak, and wasn't really surprised, was we? Because their local #1 pool player, Senjin Perlovanovic, got beat. But as the evening's gone on, there's a healthy amount of people showed up to watch the evening's action.
It was great actually at the end of Pelovanovic's match earlier today, when he'd just gone out of the tournament and his big adventure was at an end, and he and the crowd both stood applauding each other.
Oh, he's got into the cue ball. I can't stress how wonderful he cued that. Look at this one. It was more the cue ball for me. He had such a steep angle. He got so much out of it.
And now he's getting into his rhythm, into his stride. Showing us just why he's pretty much the most watchable player in the game. So it took a while for Joshua Filler to even really get properly involved in this match. He was 3-0 down. And in characteristically rapid fashion, he's levelled. It's 3-all in this race to 10 for a place in the last 4.
Don't even know what you are messing with. We're coming at you with a brand new hit. Something's telling me that it's still in time.
Bosnia and Herzegovina, more traditionally associated with sports like handball and basketball. This week, though, it's all about pool, as the European Open arrives in Sarajevo for the first time. And that's what's been going on this evening. Victory for Walter Laker of Sweden in the junior final, while Pius Labutis and Daniel Maciol have both made it through to tomorrow's semi-finals. Joshua Filler and Wojciech Szewczyk are level at 3-all as they chase a last four spot. Now Yuki Oi a couple clear of Loho Sum in the all-Asian clash going on over on table 2. Remember, both semi-finals back-to-back on a single table tomorrow, followed by the race to 13 final. Let's look in on table 2, early stages of the next rack.
It seems to have been 5-3 for a little while, and maybe it's because of the purple 5 and the 8 ball. No one wants to really attack the table because of that little cluster, but it is Oi with the 2-rack advantage.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier Loho Sum had that surprise run to the final of Invitational back in 2022, but in these big field matchroom events he had never been than the last 32 until this week. One of 2 Hong Kong players in the field. The other was the reigning UK Open champion, Robbie Capito, and they actually met each other along the way. So on the main table, Joshua Filler just returning to he's levelled here, breaking in rack 7.
Tell you what he has done though, he's clocked it early on, breaking from the right hand side box as we look. Has not been working, so he's moved over to the left and he's potted the one in the side. See where he's breaking from there, Michael? He's moved over. Safety shot is not what he intended. Kind of passed the advantage back over to Team Poland. Is he trying to get the cue ball? Well, I thought he might try and go behind the red. It's gone wrong. May try and spin this in with right and go off 1, 2, 3 rails. If not, he'll come back just below the brown 7 off 2. Oh yeah, he can do that. Yeah, there you see.
The last player you want to see building any sort of momentum, getting up ahead of steam against you, is the man in the picture there. That's the way this match is developing now. Szewczyk's measured efficiency was on show early on, but it's in danger of being overtaken here by the inspirational German. talked earlier about how both of these players made an impact on the world stage at an early age. Filler was on the European Mosconi Cup team, having only just turned 20. Potted the winning 9-ball and ended the week as winner of the MVP. He's still the only player ever to do both of those things on his Mosconi debut.
Yeah, he's seen how he's not happy, but from the overhead it looks okay. He's just a little stunned there.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that he was getting to that stage where he really couldn't afford to fall much further behind. But once this 9 goes down, Filler is going to lead for the first time in the match. 4 in a row for the 2018 world champion. Joshua Filler is now ahead at 4-3. Let's look in then once again. Last time we checked, they were just starting rack 9. Now they're about to finish, it would seem. It's going to be, well, in all likelihood, 3 racks in a row for Naoyuki Oi. Let's not mark this one down just yet. Looking good, Carl.
Yeah, he's looking very good. We know he's got this type of game, to be fair. If anything, he's a bit inconsistent, but clearly this week he's on his A game.
Yeah, didn't make much impact on the matchroom events last year. No better than last 32 in any of them. He did win one of the smaller ranking events, though, as we tend to refer to them.
Shuffle it to break.
The Helsinki Open last August. So Filler ahead for the first time.
Fluked a random ball, and the 1 ball's near a pocket. But believe me, he's got work to do here with the positional shot. Let's just see where this blue 2 has finished up. Well, he's going to have to pull some magic out here to get a shot on the blue 2.
Well, if anyone can pull off a shot like that, you would say it would be Filler.
Just kind of took what the table offered. Pot the ball. Let me see the blue 2 and I'll play safe. He's going to try and get the cue ball in behind the pink. Looks a little close to the scratch, but it stayed dry. Well, this one looks extremely tight. Done well there, Michael. He really has. What a shot.
Yeah, he was so effective with his potting and his breaking earlier today against Pelavanovic, but when it came to the tactical exchanges, he was an absolute top drawer in those as well.
Overspun the cue ball. He was trying to play a kick and stick in behind it to leave a bit of distance. That is not the shot he intended. A little surprised he didn't go for the pot there. Could have cut it in. 3 balls near a pocket. I wonder why he's not gone for the pot.
Extension called.
Yeah, what would be a possible explanation in your view for that?
I can only think he's just behind it and just thought, I don't fancy this. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna stick it up. But you know, whenever you let your opponent back to the table, you never know what's going to happen. You know, he's playing arguably the best player in the world, and he's jumping over this. He's going to try and pot it. If he doesn't pot it, well, he's scratched. So this time for Wojciech, the safety's paid
Foul.
off.
Start the shot clock.
The lunge of frustration with his arms there. He realised what had happened. And this is the sort of chance that Szewczyk has been hoovering up all day long across 2 matches. Spoke earlier about his run to the semi-finals of the World Championship last year. He ended the campaign of Shane Van Boning along the way, and in the end he was only 3 racks away from getting to the final. Was just outlasted in the semis by Federer Gorst, who went on to win the title for the second time, sorry. Talk about these guys making an impact at an early age. Gorst, of course, was world champion at 19. Still not even the youngest winner. Wojciech was even younger. 20 years ago this year.
Yeah, they talk about Luke Littler in darts, but Wojciech was 16 years old when he won the World 9-Ball Championships.
Extension called.
Live on Sky Sports. You say 20 years ago, Michael?
Yeah, 2005.
It was a good shot. He was under pressure there. He's lost the last 4 racks. You kind of get the impression Phil was to start jogging around the table, and he was queuing off the rail.
Yeah, absolutely. A timely intervention. Halting the Filler Express that was gathering speed. So Szewczyk gets level again. It's 4-all. So let's see what's happening over on Naoki Oi now 7-3 in front against Loh Ho Sum. I think Oi would have gone into this match as favourite. He's significantly more experienced. Oh, not even in the top 100 of the world rankings currently. Clearly that's going to change after this week.
I think it's going to be a safety shot here, though. It looks incredibly thin.
Extension.
going to try and use the 3 balls in the middle of the table to try and lay the hook. It's all about speed. Did he get there? I think he might just have got there with the purple. Keep you posted, as always. Table 2.
Well, Szewczyk has only made the one in the side once out of 4 breaks so far. He's got it this time. Where can it take him?
Yeah, and he went over to the other side. He watched Joshua. A little bit of a coaching tip there. I thought I'll have a bit of that myself. The harder you hit the ball, the more accurate you need to be on the pot. Didn't go in the centre pocket, that's why it stayed over the hole. Not got much of an angle here. And that purple 5 ball is in the line. He's got to get back up with the red 3.
Extension call.
We're trying to avoid that ball. Yeah, see how he's coming round to look. He's only got a bit of a gap there. And then he's got to watch he doesn't scratch in the corner pocket, which is fairly close to the cue ball now.
As I said, he didn't win any of the matchroom tournaments in 2024, but did win a couple of ranking tournaments, and decent ones, although they were smaller than this sort of level. Just a week after Eklund Kachi had lost that World Championship final, Filler beat him in the final of another ranking event in Dubai, and the other title that he won on the World 9-Ball Tour last year was a very famous event in the US, the Derby City Classic in January. He won that in a hill final against Pius Labutus. And that is who he will play in the semi-final tomorrow if he gets through.
Yeah, good shot. Watch the cue ball here, he's digging right into this. He'd have liked a little bit more in the cue ball. It's quite a steep angle now. Would be unlike Filler to scratch, but it is on.
So looking to regain the lead. Szewczyk attempted a pot at pace and missed it. Filler has ultimately made it count. That's 5 of the last 6 racks now for the German. He leads 5-4.
Don't
Quarter-final night in Sarajevo at the 4th European Open. Pius Labutis of Lithuania and Poland's Daniel Maciol clinched their semi-final places quite some time ago now and are just waiting to see who they're going to play. And well done to Walter Lekra of Sweden, winning the junior final earlier this evening against his Ukrainian opponent Ivan Rudenko. In the main event, Naoki Oi leading 7-4 now on table 2 against Lo Ho Sum. Joshua Filler ahead against just by a single rack at 5-4. Oi back at the table, looking to get within 2 of a place in the semis.
Yeah, and if he gets this shot right, he should well get himself within 2. It's quite thin, this. He's got to get into it with left spin. Oh, it just wobbles in. Yeah, and that's the world. So it looks like he's going to get to 8. We shall let you know. Oh, the cue ball's going to go in the top left pocket there from Josh, but it got kicked and that stopped it going in. That's the shot he's faced with. He can't pop the ball, so unless he kicks it in. Yeah, he's going to go off the top rail with left and just pop the ball. It's a very easy shot at this level. This is not an easy shot, however. He's got to play this quite firm to get the cue ball down
Extension called.
for the red 3, which means he's got to hit the centre of the pocket. No one else gets into the cue ball as good as Joshua Filler. I can't stress how steep of an angle that was.
Starting to step it up a bit. He's had 1 break and run already. Back in rack 5. I don't think there was any real doubt coming into these quarterfinals that Joshua Filler had emerged as the clear favourite to win this title. That was thrown into a bit of doubt when he was 3-0 down. Now he's showing us a full range. Joshua Filler goes 2 clear for the first time with his 2nd break and run. It's now 6-4. Now on table 2, because we weren't away for very long, well, you can see it's 8-4. Whatever happens now for both of these players at the Matchroom calendar for 2025. And there was a big announcement about the calendar earlier this evening. The inaugural Florida Open will be played in just before the US Open. It'll be at Caribe Royale in Orlando, where we were for the Mosconi Cup just before Christmas. And Carl, if they get anything like fans in for the Florida Open that they had that week, that is going to be a very special event.
Yeah, great week, wasn't it? Great venue. And the pool scene in Florida is very, very strong indeed. This is a real funny position where this blue 2 ball has landed. I'm sort of looking at it thinking, what shot do you play?
Thank you. Rack number 11.
Returning our focus now, though, to table 1, where Joshua Filler has got that look in his eyes that he wants to make a dash for the line here. He's 6-4 up. Well, he seemed to think he was going to get a chance to pot the 2 and then just paused on his way back to his chair and noticed that things had run against him a little. Just explain, Carl, to those who aren't familiar with it, what that little racking device is for that the referee, Almedin Hodzic, was just removing there.
Yeah, it's a very thin piece of plastic and it's in a diamond shape and it's got holes in it. You can just see the marks on the table now near the blue 2. The top one and the bottom one, they line up with the holes in the diamond, and all the balls sit in the holes and it gives you the perfect rack. It means all the balls are touching each other. So for whichever player breaking, everyone gets the same rack, because if there's a certain gap somewhere, it can mean that the balls don't break out very good. It's what we call a slug rack. It's actually a real cool device that's been invented.
Yeah, you might think that putting that there would make some of the balls jump in the air, but it's so impossibly thin. If you've ever held one in your hand, you'll know. It's so thin, you almost can't believe it's there.
Yeah, and also on top of that, Michael, if you've never held an American pool ball in your hand, you don't realise how big they are. To put it into context rather, the Q-tip ranges from like 12 to 13 millimetre thick, the tip of the Q. Two-rail kick and stick to leave distance. He knows he's left the 2 ball long, but he also realises it's not easy. Watch the cue ball off the second rail, kick and stick. Under some pressure here. He's only won one rack in the last 7 played, and a full table pot with the cue ball on the rail. He's passed the first test. Second test, can he get on this pink 4? His cue ball needs to go some.
Not going away in this match, and though we've been talking about Filler stepping it up, let's not forget Szewczyk's confidence must be on a real high after how well he played against Pelovanovic earlier today. Silenced the crowd, really. They turned up hoping to see the hometown hero perform, and Szewczyk played so well that things became quite subdued. Low host Sum has just got back to 8-5 down against Noyuki Oi. So Szewczyk, it seems, back to what he's been doing for most of the day. He efficiently goes about the business, mopping up the chance he was left. He's the one coming from behind now. And that leaves him only one behind. It's now 6-5 to Filler.
Thank you.
Consider how long Szewczyk has been around as a decent player, Carl. Why do you think he's not achieved a good deal more in the game? He's had a few good tournaments, but perhaps not as many as you might have expected when he burst through at quite a young age.
Well, you could maybe put it down to just how tough it is. Just the strength and depth players he's got to put up with. It's not easy winning, you know, big major pool tournaments, and like I said, he's been deep in quite a lot of them. Just maybe things have not quite gone his way at certain times. He had a fantastic run, didn't he, in Saudi Arabia, the World Championships last season.
But would there be one aspect of his game you might have noticed over the years that if he could just bring it up a level, it might lead to much greater success?
Yeah, maybe the safety department, knowing when to edge his bets or play the safety.
6-5 down.
Maybe it's things like that. Just bad timing, no shot on the blue too. This is part and parcel of being a 9-ball pool player. You're not going to break and keep getting dollies. You're not just going to keep all landing over the pocket. You're going to have to be tested in all aspects. Safety, jumping, kicking, the push out. Here we have the push out now. He's going to make a decision where he rolls the cue ball here.
Push out called.
Yeah, you've got to tell the referee. That was Wojciech, who you heard say push out. If you leave Joshua Filler any sniff of a kick and stick or like a 50-50 safety or something, he'll go game. Don't worry about that. Usually when he doesn't like it, it means it's very difficult. And nothing really stands out here, yeah? He's give the nod. He doesn't like it. He sees no percentage safety kick here at all. The only thing I can think of, oh, he's going that way, okay. Is he trying to play it slow and get the cue ball to hit the blue 2 and then just flick off the 8 and use the 8 and the red 3 as a blocker? That's what I mean. You might think good shot, but he'll be in some trouble when he comes back to the table. Possible bank shot in the side, but that would be very Johan Chua-like, very attacking.
That was one of the stories of the week, wasn't it? Chua and Carlo Beato, the two biggest Philippines names. Were the only two Philippines players in the tournament, but both went out last 64.
You can see what I mean now, Michael. Obviously, Wojciech played the push out. Filler come up, had a look, didn't see anything. Give it back. Wojciech played the kick, it went wrong, and now he has put himself in a bit of bother here. He's got the short stick, jumping over the 9. I don't really know what shot he's going to play. Maybe he's going to just try and separate the blue and the cue ball, just to leave distance. Get a little bit lucky. There's a lot of balls still on the table, so good things can happen. Yeah, he's actually hit this really well. He's absolutely nailed the cue ball where he wanted. He hit low side of the blue too. Beautiful jump shot.
Extension called.
You were talking about how you came from 8-ball, Carl. So when it came to the tactical side of the game, obviously you were coming to 9-ball a bit late and you had to learn about all of that. But was it a case of learning from someone? Or did you just have a natural instinct for it? Or was it simply a case of just learning all the tactical permutations by just playing a huge amount of racks of 9-ball?
Yeah, you just go through the motions, and for me, my strength was more the potting and kind of going game, more attacking, and everything else kind of got left behind. But listen, the more matches you play and the better players you're playing against, and I actually feel like if I played now, it'd be better than ever, because I've watched that much pool over the few years.
And you've learned so much from me, of course.
Absolutely. Good bank, but cue ball's going nowhere.
But have you seen players who were really good at the breaking and the potting and the run-outs, but just never made it because they could just never get their heads around the tactical side?
Yeah, I feel like Sanchez Ruiz was one of them, to be quite honest. I think he's really come on in the safety, and I think the man at the table as well, to be fair. There's no one better than knocking the ball in the pocket than Filler and running big packages, but even the last sort of 2 to 3 years, his safety game seems to have come on leaps and bounds.
Was there anyone who just never got to that stage, who just couldn't ever quite grasp the tactical aspects of it, and as a result missed out on having a good career? Because obviously those guys got there in the end and had great careers.
Yeah, there is a name that stands out, to be fair. British player, I think Imran Rashid seemed to play the game for such a long time, obviously way before I come on the scene, and the other Brits like Chris Melling, Darren Appleton. And Imran, good breaker of the balls, good potter. But the safety, you always felt like when you played him, if the balls went scrappy, you just always felt like you'd have the better hand. And that was common knowledge. That's not just me digging him out here live on TV. You're going to get me in trouble, Michael.
Ah, that's the idea. Yeah, Imran has joined us in the box a number of times. He did play in the Mosconi Cup, of course, played in the Tide Mosconi in Rotterdam in 06.
Yeah, he might not be joining us again now after that comment. Now, he would probably openly hold his hands up. It's a funny part of the game, because obviously, I suppose when you're practicing, you're playing, it's all about knocking the balls in, isn't it? He's not to rail here, or has the purple touched? Yeah, the purple just has touched, if you're not familiar with this rule. After contact has been made, any ball must strike a rail or go in the pocket for it to be a legal shot.
Well, the purple 5 did make contact with the rail, but the headline from Szewczyk's shot But he's left Filler a chance to go too clear again.
Then obviously, you know, we're talking about the safety side of the game. You could go the other way as well, couldn't you? You know, you've obviously got players who are just supreme potters, just pure instinct. Filler, Shaw, Mellin, these type of players. Obviously Darren Appleton's still a good potter, but his safety game was so good, you know, and he always seemed to play the right shot as well. There's a lot to be said for that. Sometimes you see like Chua jacking up full length, trying to spear the ball in and go viral, but it's a very low percentage shot. Okay, Filler 6-5 up. Break after this rack, and that is the shot he's faced with. He's going into the left middle pocket. Cue ball will be bouncing off the bottom rail, back off the top rail. He needs a flick off the 9 for a shot on the 8, and he's got it. Joshua Filler doesn't need the pool gods to help him out, but he will take it.
Szewczyk close to within 1, but Filler restores the 2-rack gap, and he only needs 3 more to make the European Open semi-finals for the second time. He leads 7-5.
We're coming at you with a brand new hit. Something's telling me that it's still in time.
Saturday night in Sarajevo, the capital city of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which has really made a lasting impression on those of us lucky enough to be here for the 4th staging of the European Open. First time it's been here after 3 years in Germany. Sanja Pelovanovic, the hometown hero, really did his bit by getting through to the weekend. He was beaten earlier today by Wojciech Szewczyk, who in turn is now trailing 7-5 against the man at the table, Joshua Filler. It's another one not going in the side.
Yeah, the main thing is a ball has vanished, and I think you can pop the yellow one. We're getting to the business end of this match now. The real juicy part.
Yeah, it's always the target is to make the one in the side off the break. But he's only done it 3 out of 7. As you say, though, this is a good second prize. Just to update you on the other quarter-final that's still going on. Loho Sum is clinging on now, 9-6 down to Naoki Oi. The Japanese player one away from getting through to the semi-finals of one of these events for the first time in about 3.5 years.
Yeah, the yellow one ball from Josh was the key shot in this rack, and it's the key shots where he excels. He knows certain shots in the rack are pretty much going to be the rack for him. That's how good he is. It's just a case of connecting the dots now. Don't do anything silly.
Mentioned that he was MVP on his Mosconi debut and also potted the winning 9. He's potted the winning 9 ball 3 times now in Mosconi's. He's the only European player ever to do that. The only other player to do it for either team is the American legend, Johnny Archer. You know, only 27 years of age and so many landmarks and records that he either already has or has a share of, and so much time. You just wonder how high up the list of all-time greats he'll be by the time he finishes many years from now.
He likes this because he put himself in a bit of a hole. And just look at the positional shot, Michael. 1, 2, 3, 4 rails that come across. And it's just landed perfect on the 8. A lot of players could have ended up on the other side of the table, though.
So it's going to be his biggest leading margin yet. He was 3 racks behind. He's now 3 in front with his 3rd breaking run of the match. Joshua Filler moves within a couple of the last 4 spots. So this is an event I was talking about a little earlier this evening. It was confirmed today that the World 9-Ball Tour will be going back to Caribe Royale in Orlando, where we were for the Mosconi Cup just before Christmas. This time it will be individual play. The Florida Open, a new major tournament in early August. And of course, that finishes only about a week before the US Open begins. Fedor Gorst will be looking to go back-to-back there. Gorst, the undisputed player of 2024, wasn't with us this week. He's been off having some treatment on an injury problem. We'll be seeing him again soon. And that is really one to look forward to. The Florida Open. Now back over on table 2, Naoki Oi is just looking for one more to take his place in the semis.
Oh, he's missed the combo. So Loho Sum survives for now. Another missed one ball, Michael. I'm sure you're going to let us know the stat in a second.
Well, he's only made it in the side 3 times out of 8 now. If he gets through to the final, will that be something he'll spend a lot of time tomorrow morning working on, or can you really remedy it that quickly? Or is it just a case of going out and hoping it turns out differently in the semi if he gets there?
Yeah, often, I suppose, if there's a different referee, you know, sometimes that can have a small part to play in it. It's hard to kind of just change the momentum of the break if you start off in a few dry breaks. This looks a good cue ball, though. Yeah, it is. Yeah, usually if you start off with, let's say, 2 out of 3 dry breaks, that form seems to continue. We've seen both players swap sides on the break in this match. No one's had major success. Two-rail kick, hope it's your day. Well, Joshua Phil has missed the kick.
Foul.
Just shows you what playing good safeties can cause, though. The fact that he got the cue ball welding on that purple ball has helped him get ball in hand.
That's shot clock, please.
You know, he was 3 up, so he's only won 2 racks, hasn't he? Kind of 8-2 in the last 10 racks. So if he can run the table here with a break and be at 8-6, he's well and truly still in this match.
Yeah, he's got a better percentage going in terms of making the one in the side off the break. 50%, 3 out of 6. It's hard to define what exactly constitutes a chance of this nature, but what we can say in general terms is that his percentage rate of converting from this sort of situation across both of his matches today is extremely high. Looks like Lo Ho Sum has got another one back, so he's now only 9-7 down against Naoki Oi. Seen a few good late turnarounds already in this tournament. Perhaps the most notable was yesterday when Yannick Pongers was 9-5 up against Tobias Bongers and fell apart really, lost the next 5 racks and thereby the match.
Yeah, that's fine. He can drop this in the centre.
Well, on the evidence of what we've been seeing from him all day, it was always highly likely that Szewczyk would make this chance count. And he's still right in the running here. Only 2 behind at 8-6. It's actually quite similar to the semi-final he had at the World Championship against Fedor Gorst, where he just kept clinging on and clinging on. What he needed, though, was the big late burst to overtake Gorst, and that never came. Lo Ho Sum doing his best to make a late charge against Oi.
Yuri has got another opportunity to book his place into tomorrow's semi-finals. All the balls are there. Just wants to fall on this red 3 ball nice. That'll make life easy getting on the pink 4. Looks good to me.
Been a lot of big semi-finals. None for a while. What a chance he's got. So we'll keep an eye on that as we return our focus to the main table. Point here. Oh, well, he's kept up those stats of getting the one in the side, but he's also scratched. It's ball in hand, and this is the sort of chance that Filler eats for breakfast.
Right, come off the 9 and then flicked off the brown 7. That will happen time from time. Cue ball hitting bottom side of the 9 and goes into the corner, and the timing could not have been worse for Wojciech. Couldn't have been better for Phil, mind. It's all about the pace, this shot. Little light.
Wojciech, he's been in a US Open semi-final. He's been in a World Championship semi-final. He's been in 2 World Cup semi-finals with Japan. And now he's in the semi-final Open. And he will be the only non-European player in the last 4. He has defeated Lo Ho Sum of Hong Kong in the All-Asian Clash 10-7. Now Wojciech goes through to the final day's play, 2 wins away from landing a major title. Daniel Masiol of Poland will be next up for him.
Yeah, just played 2 rails inside the pink 4, just to leave himself this pot. Yeah, you could hear Josh make a bit of a noise as if he wasn't happy with where this has finished, but looks pretty good to me.
Wojciech Szewczyk looked absolutely crestfallen as he returned to his chair after scratching on the break, like a man who knew what was in all probability coming next. And Filler has not disappointed. He's going to be 3 clear again, and this time he's on the hill. Szewczyk's scratched break was his only shot on that 15th rack. Filler has done the rest, and now, unless the Pole can win all of the next 4, his European Open adventure will be over. So this is the 1 match remaining. Piers Labutis of Lithuania, who's through to his 3rd matchroom semi-final, awaits the winner of this. Normally when we see Joshua Filler involved in these big matches, Carl, Pia, his wife, is a very good player herself, is watching. Is she not here this week? I've not seen her at all.
Not seen her, but I did see, I'm sure there's a ladies event on in America. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm sure I've seen some social media posts, or if there is, I'm sure Pia is over there competing herself.
Yeah, they're the results from earlier. Piers Labutis defeating Duong Kwok Kwang 10-6. So for the 3rd time, Duong has got to a major quarter-final and gone no further. Daniel Masiol is also in his 3rd major quarter-final, but he did succeed against Tobias Bongers. winning 10-6. They were the results earlier, and of course we've just spoken about Oy. And well done to young Walter Lekra, taking the junior title back to Sweden. Filler needs one more. He's got the one in the side.
But he's no look at the blue too, so a bit of light at the end of the tunnel for
Push
Wojciech.
out called.
He will get back to the table. Let's see what push out Filler's going to play. Nice break. You see the cue ball arc below the 9. We've seen plenty of comebacks from 9-6 down in the race to 10. It's only 4 racks. Well, telling his opponent, you're not good enough to knock this in and go 2 rails to get on the 3. But if you don't, I might. I wonder if you could play off the left edge, try and bank the 2 off this rail nearest, and then get the 2 on that top right rail, short rail, and then swing the cue ball around the table, leave big distance. He's weighing it up. He looks like he's attacking this ball. You can see the way he's striking the cue ball here. A lot of venom, a lot of anger. He's had a go. And I'll tell you what, he has been unlucky here. Boy, he's been unlucky. That is very, very cruel. I mean, I suppose if you're being very critical, he did hit it too hard. Anywhere centre of the table, he'd have had a shot on the red 3, but what a nice pot, and now he's kicking at this. Trying to pot it in the pocket nearest the 8 ball, and that 8 ball seems to give me the impression it's making the pocket a little bit bigger, meaning the red might hit that 8 and still go in that pocket. He'll fancy this, you know. And looking at that, it is quite a big pocket. Gotta hit this full though, full in the face. Could even fluke it in the other corner as well, you know. Oh, it's unlucky. Well, it's even more unlucky because he's left Filler in here. He was close, wasn't he? Look at where the 3 hits here.
Although he won't be waving the white flag just yet, Wojciech Szewczyk, I think it's fair to say, will not be expecting that he's going to play another shot in this year's European Open.
Yeah, but Wojciech, who started off out the gate, he won the opening 3 racks. And Filler's done what he's done to many a player. If he puts these 5 balls, he's going to have done a number on his opponent.
Extension called.
It's been good to him this tournament. Got to the quarterfinals in the first year, semi-finals the next year. They were in his homeland. Now the European Open has ventured further south on the continent of Europe to Sarajevo. And Joshua Filler, polish off these last 2 balls, will be around for the last day and with a chance to get back into the winner's circle, where he's been absent for much too long in these matchroom events. Wojciech Szewczyk played so well against Sandian Pelovanovic earlier today. He started off magnificently in the quarter-final, but Joshua Filler has won 10 of the last 13 racks. He has beaten Wojciech Szewczyk by 10 racks to 6. He will be back tomorrow to contest the semi-final against Pius Labutas, and there's no doubt Filler will enter the last day of this tournament as the favourite to walk off with the trophy. This was the moment that he finished it off. And really, once he got started in the match, Carl, it didn't take him long to emerge as a very clear favourite to win it, even after that start Szewczyk had made.
Yeah, sorry, Michael, I was just saying, no, he didn't. He's, you know, we've seen him do this to many a player, even when he's down, as he was 3 racks to 0. He didn't panic, he didn't worry, he knew his power game could see him through if he got a chance, and got a chance. He did.
Made a career out of backing himself, and even when things weren't going his way early on, he continued to do so. So they are the numbers, Carl. Look at the missed pots, so low there. Szewczyk only missed 3 balls across his 2 matches today. But Filler will want to be more